Okay, so in this video, I want to introduce you to the Quilty Solid app. In my previous Block of the Months, I used to introduce people to a tool called the Palette Builder tool, which did a similar thing to what this app is going to do. But actually the previous one, Palette Builder, is no longer available. So I obviously had to find an alternative for you. And so this is a pretty close match. And it also has a few other things in it that the Palette Builder didn't have. So it has some benefit to it. Okay. So I have opened this on my iPad, which I am recording on, and I've got it in the landscape orientation because that is the orientation that my computer, when you are on watching this in the platform, will show it you in. However, when you are doing it, you will probably turn your device to the portrait orientation, and so it will be bigger for you. So do that when you are using this. Now you would need to go to the App Store or the Google Play area on your device and search for Quilty Solid and then download that to your device. It is a free app, so you can just get that for free. Okay, so when you open it, you will see this menu appear. So you've got a number of options there. If we take a look at settings, we can see the word fabric swatches, and you get the option to include not only different fabric brands, but also thread manufacturers. So we've got Aurifil there, Wonderfil are there, as well as Glide. So, you know, there are a number of different manufacturers that you will be familiar with. Currently, we can just see that I've got Kona cotton specified, and that's because generally I only work with Kona cotton. But I do sometimes use other ones, and you may, you know, like to use a whole different selection of different manufacturers. So feel free, obviously, to select whichever ones you want to. I'm going to click back, and I'm going to talk you through all of these options on the menu, but the first one I want to go to is actually the photo palette, because that is the one that we're most interested in. So let's click on that. It's going to ask me to choose an image, so I'm going to go ahead and choose an image from my photos in this device. So you will need the photo uploaded to the device you're using in order to be able to bring it into the app. These are some of the ones that I've worked on before, so I'm just going to grab this Christmas image just here and load that up into the app. And what we can see there at the top is that at the moment it's only letting me look at Kona cotton because that's the only one I selected in the settings. It's added my image there, and then what it's done is it's found 20 colours in the Kona cottons, because that's what I've asked it to look at, and it's given me 20 of the colours that are within this image. Now I can change how many it gives me by using this slider switch at the top. If I only want it to show me 14, I can slide that across. If I want 20 or more, I can move this slider switch. So it's kind of automatically done the work for me, and if I like those, I can select some colours from there and add those to my collection. So I'm going to go through and just add a few of those. I'm going to add ash and shale and cardinal. I actually want a darker green, so let's go down through these. Quite like that Everglade, so I'm going to choose the Everglade. Maybe that deep rose, I quite like that. So I can then go and have a look at collection. So I'm going to click on collection, and it's going to show me the palette I've just selected. And I can decide whether I like that palette or not. I can also think about how many colours I want in my palette. So that depends on which design you are making and how many colours you need. So at the moment, I'm currently thinking of the geometry quilt that I do, and I actually only need 4 colours for that. So I'm probably going to drop the deep rose. So I'm going to take that out. I'm left with this lovely selection here. I'm not sure about that red. I think I want a darker red. So they didn't have one come up in the average, apart from that garnet, which is a bit too brown for me. So what do? Well, I can go ahead and click on eyedrop. When I click eyedrop, I then use my finger on the screen to select a different red. And you can see I've just clicked on to the image just there on that bauble and that red. If I didn't like that one, I could just press again somewhere else. So actually, that's too light. I do quite like the darkness. That's a little bit dark. Let's go back, and then I'm going to scroll down and see what that suggests. So it's giving me 5 more options of reds that might work, and I like this rich red one. So I'm going to click that. The tick box comes up. I'm going to go back to the collection and I can have a look. And yeah, I really like that rich red. So I'm going to take the cardinal out, and this is then my selection, my collection that I really like. I'm going to click Save Palette, and I'm going to call this Christmas 3 because I've already got some in there. And I'm going to click Save, and it has saved that for me. I can go and look at my palettes in a number of different ways. I can click on here, so it says Visit Your Palette, so I could click that, or I could go back using the arrow at the top and view my palettes from there. So I'm just going to click this one. And it's going to show me all of the palettes that I have collated recently, just there. We can see Christmas 1. That's a new Christmas. That was the one I did previously. And then we've got Christmas 3. So these two look really similar. I wouldn't be surprised if they're exactly the same. So let's have a look. So I actually had ultramarine, shale, ash and rich red on that one. And this one, the only difference was Everglade. So instead of the ultramarine, I'd clicked Everglade. So it's really similar, but it gives us some ideas to work with. Now that palette will be there for you to come back and look at in the app whenever you want to. If for any reason you wanted to save that somewhere else, I would recommend taking a screenshot of it. And then you've got it on your device. You can email it to yourself, print it out if that's important to you, and just have access to it wherever you need it to have access to. It might be useful having it on your phone if you are visiting shops and want to remember which colours you chose so that you can purchase them. Let's go back now to that main menu and have a look at some of the other options in there. So the next one down from settings is colour list, and in order to use that effectively, I'm going to go back into settings and I'm just going to choose a couple more solid manufacturers, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to click colour list. Now at the top here we've got the drop down menu, and it is currently showing fabrics for Andover Fabrics Century Solids. So if I click on one of those, it's going to show me Passion. This is the pink one from Andover Century Solids, and it's also going to show me some alternatives from some of those other brands that I have selected. So if for any reason you couldn't get hold of Passion from Andover Fabrics from their Century Solids range, you could look to see what other manufacturers have got a colour that is very close to that colour from Andover. And we can see that this one from Robert Kaufman in their Kona range, Valentine, is really similar. So, you know, I could know that I could purchase that one in place of that Andover fabric. So it's a really useful tool to be able to look at different manufacturers and compare them to see which colours are similar. You've then got colour search, so if you know the name of your swatch that you want to get, you can search for it. Photo palette we've looked at. Your palettes, that's just another way to access the palettes that you have saved. We've then got the palette randomizer. This is quite a fun tool. You know, it may be that you want to get some ideas, and so you can just say randomize and it's going to give you a selection of different fabrics. So that is quite a fun one to do if you're not sure where to start. And then finally down here you've got the Pantone matcher, and this is quite good if you work with Pantones. There is a Pantone colour of the year or colour challenge, and so what you can do is you can look to see which manufacturers have fabrics that are a close match to the Pantone colour. And you can look through those and then obviously decide. You can search by Pantone colour or you can just scroll through them. So as you can see, you know, there are lots of really useful tools in this app. As I said, I think the one the most useful to us for what we're doing is probably the photo palette. If you've got a photo, you've searched through colour combinations and you want to see how that translates into different fabric manufacturers, this is an excellent app to use to look that up. Now, if you have any questions regarding this, then please do put them in the question box underneath this video.